Are you feeling the intense energy of the 5D shift, but you can't break through? You know that the ascended masters, the light beings, spirit guides, the extraterrestrials are out there, but you're tired of just hoping for contact. Well, the old days of struggling for a sign from the heavens are over. The higher dimensional door is now wide open, and these beings are waiting to communicate with you. I'm not offering you a theory. I am sharing proven, repeatable techniques for sustained contact with higher dimensional beings. They are waiting for you to talk to them now, but you have to make the first move. I will show you how. So the first thing that we need to do to understand what is going on in this world is to understand that the third dimensional earth that you live in is a simulation. So what that means is that we can't simply project what we perceive to be reality out onto the rest of the multiverse and onto other beings. Now, that's what most people do. That's what you're being told by the government, by ufologists, by movies about extraterrestrials. You are being told that ETs live in the same third dimensional world that you do, and they operate from the same rules. That's why people wonder, are there good ETs or bad ETs? Because there is on planet Earth good humans and bad humans. And I've had many people come to me who I tell them what it's like communicating with these higher dimensional beings, and they'll say, well, but some people are good and some people are bad, so there has to be bad ETs out there. This is coming from a projection of your experience of the third dimension. So the first thing to understand is that this third dimension does not represent the vast majority of reality that beings live in. It is a very isolated, unique little experimental world, and it is an illusion. It is, as we say here, it is a simulation. So the next thing that you need to do before you make contact is do not resist the energy shift that is happening right now. There is a massive shift. I mean, it's you're going to see it's going to start increasing dramatically. It has already begun. It has already happened. We talk about the split between the 3D and 5D. These are just phrases, but there is a definite split between realities. And you can shift your reality to see this new world that is emerging. People that don't shift their realities, they're going to see the old world, the world of the Ponzi scheme slave owners. So first thing that I recommend that you do is do not resist the energy shift that is happening right now. Higher dimensional beings are actively seeking contact. And that's important to know because up until very recently, they weren't. Now, to be clear, higher dimensional beings, extraterrestrials, light beings, ascended masters, spirit guides, it doesn't matter what words you use. These beings have been here on Earth and have been interacting with humans. In fact, you have interacted with them. Many times throughout your life, you just didn't realize what you were interacting with. Lots of times you thought you were just getting an intuition, or this was, your higher instinct telling you something, which is, of course, possible. But it's also just as likely that you are actually being given information, given intuition from an actual higher dimensional being that is working with you. So these beings have been here. However, right now, for the first time in human history, these beings are seeking to make direct contact with human beings. That means it's not coming from the other side of a veil. It's not coming through just intuition. These beings want to reveal themselves to you, communicate with you directly. And this is something that has never happened before in human history, and it's happening now if you want to participate in it. So you must initiate first contact. So don't wait around for them to contact you, because you have to break out of your third dimensional video game headset. And you're the only person that can do that. If a higher dimensional being, an ascended master, were to come down and reveal themselves to you without you consciously seeking it out, one of two things would happen. Either you wouldn't see anything, nothing would happen because you'd be wrapped up in your own simulation, or it would be so traumatizing for you that it could really flip you out. And so these beings love you. They experience themselves as your family members. So they don't want to harm you in any way. So they're not going to do that. So that means you have to make first contact. And the way you do that, and we'll get into specifics on how to do that, but the way that you do that is you start by making the conscious decision that you are going to reach out beyond your perception of the third dimension and create an interdimensional portal. If you don't do that, they're not going to come knocking on your door. So you must initiate first contact. All right, this is important. Do not use any external chemicals. All right, so it is true that the chemical DMT is naturally released into your brain and body, and that chemical is released in a massive way when you actually do have an interaction with a higher dimensional being. It's a fact that when you're born, your brain, your little infant brain, releases massive amounts of DMT. When you die, your brain releases massive amounts of DMT. And when you have spiritual experiences, also, even in meditative practices. But when you externally take DMT or any other external chemical, you end up actually short-circuiting the process. And what ends up happening is that eventually you will be unable to make contact as long as you use those methods. So the good news is that there are ways to get far more DMT released into your brain by you doing exercises and practices, and you'll get far more success than if you rely on something outside of you, because just the message of it says that you're not enough. You need something else to do it for you. And this goes against the whole shift that is happening. The entire shift that is happening is that you are the one that makes the shift. It doesn't happen to you. You are the one that participates in it, and without your participation, it won't happen for you. So, do not use any external chemicals. Do learn energy practices. So the other side of that is if you do Qigong, energy work, Kundalini yoga, mantra, meditation, CE5, human initiated contact, if you do these kinds of things, this will strengthen your body's ability to either create the energy, create the DMT, and or to absorb life force energy or create higher dimensional energy within your body. It's a huge subject. I won't get into it in detail, but energy work is, if you want to be able to lift heavy weights, you have to go and you have to train and start pushing some weights. You want to learn to become a long distance runner, you got to start training. So that's what energy work is. Energy work is you're training your energy system, your nervous system, your energy meridians, your chakras, your energy points. You are training them and strengthening them to be able to either create the energy to create the portals or to handle the intense amount of energy that will come to you as a result of communicating with these beings. So do learn energy practices. Now, it's important that you understand that contact with ascended masters, higher dimensional beings, light beings, ETs, whatever word you want to use, this contact destroys the 3D narcissist matrix. What does that mean? The world that we live in is energetically designed to keep you in a state of codependent self-devaluation. Now, the way that we respond to that is it's a two extremes of one perspective, which is the narcissistic perspective. So people think wrongly that there is this spectrum of empaths versus narcissists. And so the assumption is that these are two different types of thinking and two different types of people. And that's actually not true. It's a spectrum of the same narcissism. So it turns out, if you identify, I'm sorry you're not going to like hearing this, if you identify as an empath or a super empath or whatever is the hip term, you're actually a narcissist. You're an inverted narcissist. And if you, so in this world, we react in one of those two ways. Either we become a victim, which is actually a conscious choice, and it's narcissism. You get wrapped up in your own victimhood. You get wrapped up in your own self-awareness. And unfortunately, this is what happens to people who have been damaged, who have been hurt. The response to that is to become an inverted narcissist, an empath, a victim, a codependent. The other extreme is to become the abuser. That's still narcissism, wrapped up in your own self-absorbed awareness, having no empathy for others. So this is how this world is designed. And it's designed this way so that souls who choose to come here, nobody's forced to be here, there's no forced soul reincarnation, none of that. That's coming from a narcissistic, wounded perspective. That's a very codependent perspective. People feel that way, so they project it onto the world. I can only imagine what David Icke went through to come up with the stuff that he teaches. But it's a projection of their own experience of being wounded, isolated, and damaged. And it is something that happens when people don't take responsibility for their own incarnation, for their own existence. So you must take full responsibility, otherwise you won't be able to make contact with higher dimensional beings. I'm going to tell you that right now. So if you love being a victim, if you walk around complaining about your life, and you may have reason to do so, I'm not trying to minimize whatever trauma you've gone through. If you go around complaining about it and explaining to people why you're so minimized in whatever way, that's where you're going to stay, because you are not accepting the reality that you chose to be here. So that's the opposite of narcissism. All narcissists are victims. The ones that act like they're in control and they tell everybody what to do, they're lying to you. Internally, they feel so powerless, and so they're constantly controlling others because they're so afraid and they feel so victimized. That's their response to their victimization. The other response, as I said, is being the victim, trying to get your worth and your value by constantly trying to help others, please others, fix others. That's a narcissistic way of just trying to be told you're a good person because you can't find it within yourself. So the opposite is you have to find your worth within yourself. You have to find ways to understand that you deserve to be loved simply because you exist. That is your soul. Your soul represents your godhood, because all souls are holographic projections of the source. They're not fractals of God. They're not pieces of God. They're not rays of God. That minimizes it. They are holographic projections. Your soul is a holographic projection of the one source, the Creator. So that means you have all the value and all the worth in existence. But in order to tap into that, you have to operate and identify from your soul. And we talk about that on this channel a lot, what that actually means. So, contact with higher dimensional beings will destroy this third dimensional narcissistic matrix within you. So here's what's going to happen. You will interact with higher dimensional beings, and based on your character, They will seek to make you feel completely loved, completely seen, and they will start telling you about your divine essence. They will start telling you that you're a God, that you created universes. They'll start telling you that you have magical powers to do all kinds of things. They will even begin almost worshiping you as their God, as their leader. Because let me give you a secret that you may not know. It's the exact opposite of what you've been told. And it's the exact opposite of your 3D experience, which is that human beings are the most powerful spiritual beings in the multiverse. Only the most powerful and the most highly spiritually advanced gods are even allowed to incarnate as humans. That means that the humans that are the most screwed up, the worst of them, whatever words you want to use, those are extremely powerful gods. Now, how is it that an incredibly powerful God can end up so screwed up like so many humans? That's how challenging this Earth video game is. It's the most challenging place in the multiverse, and only the most powerful beings get to come here. So you have to pick one. If you're going to be a victim, that means you're a worthless piece of crap and you should be doing better, and you're sinful and you deserve to go to hell. Or you are so powerful that you chose to come to the single most hardest video game within the multiverse, because you wanted to learn how to become even stronger. Now, that is the truth, and I know that because this is how light beings treat me. They treat me like I'm the most powerful being in existence. And they're going to treat you the same way. Why is that important? Me telling you that is one thing. When you actually experience it on an energetic and a higher dimensional level, it will mess with you. And your narcissistic matrix, which is your survival mechanism within the third dimension, will start coming apart. So just be prepared for that. That contact with higher dimensional beings will destroy your 3D narcissist matrix. And if you do not consciously choose to go outside of that, you will walk away from them. You're going to have to make a choice between the third dimensional matrix, survival, your psychological and emotional comfort. You don't realize it, but you're more comfortable being abused and feeling like a victim than you are being a god. You say, you don't believe that? Well, do me a favor, have direct one-on-one contact with these beings, and then tell me that when they tell you how amazing you are, it doesn't mess with you. You don't worry about your sanity. You don't think you've lost your mind. That is your mind fighting against this. But it's destroying the third dimensional matrix, because this 3D video game is over. This experiment has concluded. The scientists are packing their gear up and they're getting ready to leave. That's why everything's coming apart. So now we get to be a part of the new experiment, but we must do this willingly. We must volunteer to be a part of it. So contact destroys your 3D narcissist matrix. As I said, your mind will fight against the awakening. Your mind will defend your self-hatred. Your mind will defend the Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi scheme, you know what a Ponzi scheme is, right? There's just somebody at the top that just gets all the money. And the rest of it is designed to make you think that as long as you invest in it, you'll get something back. This is what everybody does when they go get a job, when they go start a career, when they go spend thousands of dollars to become a doctor or a lawyer or get some business degree or something else. This is what happens to celebrities when they start to get fame. This is what happens to everybody who wants to believe that their God, which is this third dimensional narrative, the banks, to believe that banks actually exist and that money is a real thing that can actually, you put $10 into the bank and it accrues interest and it grows, and people talk about the economy the same way they talk about the weather. Weather is a real thing. The economy is completely made up. So this whole idea of the third dimensional Ponzi scheme, if you are attached to that, if you want riches, fame, notoriety, if your Instagram reel and your Facebook membership and your YouTube, views, if all that is really important to you, or getting money or having a mortgage or owning a house or being part of this, we're being told this kind of stuff all the time. If you feel the need to go get a digital ID so that you'll be part of the crowd and you won't get left out, if you're afraid you're going to get punished, if you need to get because they tell you to do that, this is the Ponzi scheme. And the only way out of it is to just simply refuse to participate. So, your mind will defend against the Ponzi scheme. I'm just telling you, when you start communicating with higher dimensional beings, one of the things your mind is going to do is it's going to start telling you why you need to make more money, why you need to get that job, why you need to get this, why you need to have a better credit score. And it's a defense against awakening to the truth, because the truth is none of that exists. And I'll tell you why this is so challenging. Because the truth is people worship money. It doesn't matter what religion they are. Every single person on the planet worships money as their God. People will off themselves if they don't have enough money. People will work themselves to the bone 16, 18 hours a day, 6 days, 7 days a week so that they can have this thing that doesn't exist. It's their God. And that's the Ponzi scheme. The money is the symbol of the Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme is their religion, is their God. And we are trained from birth to be a part of it. It takes one to know one. And so I'm here to tell you that your mind feels comforted by that because you trust it. You trust that money exists. But I'll tell you what you don't trust. You don't trust that simply the energy of the universe will take care of you. If I told you to stop trying to get a job, stop trying to make money, and simply do the things that give you joy, whether there's any money in it or not, if you do that 100%, the universe will always make sure that you have resources. And if that happens to be money, you'll have money. But you'll always have a place to live, you'll have a car, you'll have food, you'll have clothing, you'll have comfort, you'll have transportation. But you have to trust. And you can't trust a little bit, you can't trust halfway, you have to completely trust. Which means you have to completely, totally make yourself vulnerable, open to the energy of the multiverse to take care of you. That is not something that is easily done, let me tell you. But that is the choice. You either trust in God, trust in the universe, trust in the energy, or you trust in the Ponzi scheme. Those are your only two choices. You try to do it halfway, you're trusting the Ponzi scheme. So your mind will defend the Ponzi scheme thinking that it's protecting you. Do find a teacher or a mentor or a group. It's extremely important that you not be isolated in this, because if you are having contact with higher dimensional beings, your understanding of reality is getting warped and twisted and destroyed and recreated, and you will think you're going crazy. You will try and go talk to the average person and they will have no idea what you're talking about. You will not want to talk to other people about it. You'll stay within yourself. And then you will wonder, have I lost my mind? And you'll be trapped between two worlds. It's a horrible place to be. So you need to have people around you that are doing the same thing. Teachers are incredibly important, because your brain has been programmed to keep you insane. The Ponzi scheme is insanity. Believing that money is a real thing is insanity. And that you need to live your life by it is actually insane. Birds don't do it. Fish don't do it. Animals don't do it. Only humans do it. So it's important for you to be living in the truth, living in actual reality. So find a teacher, a mentor, or a group. A teacher is somebody who can show you the crazy things that are going on in your mind. A teacher is somebody, it doesn't matter whether you're learning how to fence, you're learning how to box, you're learning how to paint, somebody who's learned what you want to learn. So you ask them and you do what they suggest because they know from experience. You don't. And if you're starting out in this and communicating with higher dimensional beings, there's going to be stuff that you've never experienced before. And again, not only will it save your sanity, but it will allow you to continue to take action towards the shift and towards awakening. And most importantly, it will help create a new understanding, a new conscious collective awareness of the world. It'll create a new narrative. So right now there are two competing narratives. The Ponzi scheme narrative is huge. This awakening narrative is a little smaller, but it's gaining strength. And the more that the higher dimensional understanding, the narrative, continues to grow, the more the Ponzi scheme narrative falls apart. So it's really important that you do that you find a teacher or a mentor and or a group of people. So if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm telling you to reject the Ponzi scheme matrix. That is not something you do in your head. You have to take actions to do that. So it's more than just deciding in your head that you don't want to do that. You're going to have to take some actions in your life. And that's a lot of the stuff that we talk about here on this channel. So do only that which makes you happy. This is the exact opposite of the Ponzi scheme narcissistic matrix, which religion has been doing for the past couple thousand years, which says deny yourself and only do what God wants you to do and live your life fixing other people, taking care of other people, as opposed to living your own truth. There's even New Age spirituality, like the law of one. If you follow that, they actually teach the law of polarity, which says that in the third dimension you have to choose between doing things for yourself or doing things for other people. And if you do things for other people, you're spiritual. If you do things for yourself, you're following negativity. And that's completely backwards, because that is, unfortunately, people are just repackaging Abrahamic religion. It says that you are sinful and you have to earn your lovability by doing all of these good things for other people. So the truth is that you are God, your soul is God, everybody else's soul is God, by the way, which means all of our souls are connected. Now, not everybody is connected to their soul, which means people have souls, but they're operating from the matrix, from the Ponzi scheme. And within the Ponzi scheme, that's how you keep the Ponzi scheme going. People tell other people to do things for others. Don't do things for yourself. Stop being so selfish. Give, whatever. Pay your taxes. All that kind of nonsense. But if your soul is God, God comes here and incarnates on planet Earth, that means God wants to have fun. And so the things that give you fun make your soul expand. And guess what? When you have true fun from your soul, the souls of other people expand as well. Now, there might be people that will be disappointed in you because you're not doing what they want, or what you're doing is threatening them because they're attached to the matrix agenda and you're going against it, and that's threatening to them, so they may attack you or reject you or push you away. But their souls hear and see what you're doing. And when enough people start operating from their souls, more and more people are going to want to do that. When it becomes safer to do that, when you can be truthful, speak the truth, operate from your truth without fear of having some external Ponzi scheme matrix official coming down on you, putting you in jail, taking your money away, whatever it is, when that goes away, more and more people are going to start living from their souls. And imagine living in a world where children grow up and the only thing that they have to think about is what their soul wants to do, what kind of beautiful things they want to express from their soul. Imagine that. That's the world that's coming in this shift. All right, so do only that which makes you happy. Do that thing you fear the most. So until this world completely shifts, the Ponzi scheme matrix is going to make you feel afraid of doing things, and it's going to ridicule you for speaking the truth and being the truth and living your truth. You will be potentially punished or bad-mouthed or excluded or who knows what, canceled. So it's important that you, what did I just say? It's important that you do that thing you fear the most. So for me, coming on and starting every video by saying I am a contactee of higher dimensional extraterrestrials, I communicate with them on a daily basis. That is a very, I mean, if you think I started saying that because it sounded like a good idea, I didn't. I started saying it because it was the truth. And I'm more interested in telling the truth than I am in being liked. So I've learned how to do that. But I also, this is a rule that I follow. This video, other videos, I think about what is the most frightening thing for me to say? What is the most frightening thing for me to do? What is the most frightening business strategy for this channel? I do those things. I do these live guided interdimensional meditations twice a week. We're going to do one tonight. That, when I started doing these, that wasn't something I thought was a good idea. That was very frightening to me. It was very embarrassing because those meditations, when I allow myself to experience them, we start going into these fantastical places, you know, that sounds like a kid's fantasy. And that's not a very ego and uplifting thing for a wannabe tough guy like me. But I've made it a rule. I do the thing that I'm afraid of the most. And that, because then you have nothing to hide and you have nothing to protect. And if you're already doing the thing that you're most embarrassed about, you can't be embarrassed. Nobody can hold anything against you because you're free. So this is also where we're going. We're going to the place where little kids live. And that is an embarrassing place for most adults to be. So do that one thing, do that one thing that you fear the most. Take contrary action every day. That means do the thing that is completely opposite your impulses, your fears, your emotions. Now, this is something that is very helpful to have a teacher for, because a teacher is going to be really good at helping you see the thing that you are, the difference between your impulses, which are about your fear, self-protection mechanism, and what your soul wants. Again, this is why it's very important to have a teacher to help guide you with this, or a group of people to help encourage you with this. So, last thing is take contrary action every day. Do the opposite of what your fear wants you to do. All right, so get into some specifics on how you can make contact with these higher dimensional beings. So, this is an actual technology. I'm here to tell you that that angels, spirits, higher dimensional guides, spirit guides, extraterrestrials, higher dimensional light beings, gods, these beings operate from an energetic technology. So this isn't just fantasy. We actually have to start using physics, because that's what we're dealing with. Electromagnetic energies, frequencies. This is physics. This is reality. This is actual technology. May not be a piece of metal, but it's still technology. So here's how this technology works as I understand it. So first we have to open the energy meridians for contact. We've talked about this a little bit. So your frequency is in the third dimension, which is wrapped up, as I said, in the narcissistic self-devaluation frequency. So we have to reverse that polarity. That's what we're doing. It's a real thing. This is a great thing. You can't think yourself into spirituality. A lot of people believe they can do that. Religion taught you that. Religion said if you believe this intellectual belief, Jesus died on the cross for your sins and you won't go to hell. If you believe that intellectual concept, they'll say, then you're saved. And so we've been told that if we just believe a certain thing, if we just have an intellectual concept, that will save us. And that is the biggest lie. Reality doesn't work that way. If you sit around and believe that you're eating a sandwich, you can still starve to death. You actually have to eat an actual sandwich, food, for your body to stay nourished and stay alive. The same is true energetically. It's not just a thought in your head. It's not virtue signaling. It's an actual technology you tap into. So you can be the worst person in the world. You can be the most evil, horrible, screwed up person in existence. And if you use this technology, guess what's going to happen? You'll get the same benefits as a really wonderful person who uses this technology. And this technology is being provided to everybody so that they can create their own personal contact with ETs. All right, so to open the meridians for contact, to begin with, do CE5 or interdimensional meditation. Go right now, if you're brand new to this, go type in the letter C, the letter E, the number 5, and the word protocol. CE5 protocol. And that will tell you very simply how you can connect and communicate directly with higher dimensional extraterrestrial beings. I know because I've done it. And it was, you'll find out when you do it. So that's the first thing that I recommend. And again, you can find that anywhere. I also put next to that interdimensional meditation. That is my slight tweak on it, and I take it, and from my perspective, I take it a step further. We do these live every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a free live stream. Anybody can come and participate. You can also go to the live section of this YouTube channel, and you can do the recorded live meditations that we've done. It doesn't matter. That is how you make direct contact with these beings. Now, your level of intensity of experience is going to vary depending on all kinds of things, but one of them is your body's ability to handle the higher dimensional energy, the power that they have in these higher dimensions. They're not going to, because if they show up in all of their energy, it's going to be probably more than your 3D mind and body can handle. So they're going to do it in, as safely as possible. Now, if you want to have a more intense experience, then you have to get your energy system, your nervous system beefed up. You have to go to the gym and lift so you can lift heavier weights. You can experience more intense energy. The more intense the energy that you can experience, the greater awakening, the faster the awakening, and the more mind-blowing, amazing, blissful experiences you can have. So you have to get your body prepared. So we do energy work for that. There's all kinds of ways to do it. I have been studying and have been shown by light beings the most powerful techniques in history. Believe me or don't, you prove me wrong by doing it, I'll tell you how to do that. Okay, so if you want to get started, you can do Summoning the Immortals. That is a very simple Qigong practice that I actually channeled so that everybody could feel the energy. So if you want to do that, you go to this website here, thunderwizard.com, and you click on Shop. You'll see a bunch of things. But click on Shop, and if you scroll down, you'll see this page. Scroll all the way down until you see Mao Shan's Summoning the Immortals, Moving Qigong, and get that. And I want you to prove me wrong. If you've never experienced the energy, if you don't know if you believe me or not, I want you to prove me wrong. But the only way that you can do that is by doing the energy, by doing the practices. So this is one that everybody can do, and you can have an immediate, intense experience, especially if you do it with the intention of, I would like to make contact with higher dimensional beings. This practice is like the bat phone. They will see and hear, and they will come to you immediately, energetically, and be there. Again, prove me wrong. Do it and find out for yourself. So it's called Summoning the Immortals Moving Qigong. Now, if you want to really start to work on opening up the meridians, you see next to that Celestial Qigong Foundation of Maoshan Energy Work. So that will actually open up a secret chamber of energy. I talk about it in other videos. Go look at some of my other videos. But there's a chamber of energy within the heart that humans do not have access to. You have to do special, very simple, but special movements and postures to open that up and release that energy through the body. When you do that, you're now releasing higher dimensional soul energy. This also, it's like catnip to them. They see it, they come after it, and they want to help you. So that is the Celestial Qigong. And then what do I have next? Then we have the 90-day Lightning Qigong. Okay, so that is a practice. This is great, especially if you're brand new and you want to really get your body able to handle these energies. I teach you all three of the energy practices. I teach you basic Kundalini Yoga with some mantra, and I teach you Qigong. Qigong is 3D energy, 3D life force energy, and it's a way to absorb that energy and move it through your body. And then I teach you the energy I just talked to you about, which is Shi Gong, which is that electromagnetic energy of the heart. Nobody else that I know of teaches this. Is so secret, and so few people know about it. You're not going to find anybody else who teaches it. But the 90-day Lightning Qigong does all three of those things, so you get all of your energy, your Kundalini, your chakras, your three dantians from the Qigong. You get the higher dimensional energy moving through your entire body. This will give you the latest and most powerful way to get your body prepared for this higher dimensional contact and for this shift that is happening right now. All right, so if you want to go beyond that, then to open the navel center for 5D Earth creation. What does that mean? So your navel center, just at a 3D level, is where your unconscious mind is. It's where your mind is. It's your ability to make decisions, to think about your world, to create your world. That's why we say people have a lot of guts. What does your gut tell you? It's your navel center. Now, on a higher dimensional level, the navel center actually creates physical reality. And that's a much longer subject. So if you want to start opening up the higher dimensional level of the navel, this is how we do that. So we do the tortoise and snake form, which is also called the Xuan Wu, the Dark Warrior of the North. And this Maoshan Martial Qigong form can be found both here at thunderwizard.com in the shop. If you want to get a less expensive but the same thing, so that I don't have to pay fees and taxes, you go to maoshan.thunderwizard.com, you'll see it there. This is something I believe everybody should be doing, and no matter what level you're at. I think everybody should be doing this form, because this form was just recently downloaded to me from the being who is really overseeing the actual physical creation of the new 5D world. So this will absolutely open up your mind, and it will give you the ability to see the path going forward for your new reality. So I recommend everybody be doing this form, the Dark Warrior of the North, Tortoise and Snake, also called Xuan Wu. And you can find that in both of these links, at the shop here and at maoshan.thunderwizard.com. Okay, so again, this is to open the navel. So the next thing, or at the same time, you can be doing 5-element spirit fighting forms. This is, I explain it when you go into it, but again, you can get it by going to thunderwizard.com, clicking on shop. And again, you can see all of them there. Down at the bottom left, there's the wood, and then up at the top, metal, fire, water, and earth. You do it in that form. Start with the wood set. If you want to get all 5 of them at a discount, then you can go here to maushan.thunderwizard.com and get all 5 of the elements. So I believe if somebody's really serious about the kind of energy technology that's been given to me, that's what you should be focusing on. At some point, you want to get yourself to the place where you're doing the Xuan Wu form, the tortoise and snake, and doing the 5-element spirit fighting. That is like the basic advanced level for a human being. Anybody at that level, you're going to be having connections and you're going to have energy that the average human can't get access to. It'll give you a higher, more powerful connection to higher dimensional beings, and this energy, these technologies came from them. Even though they've been taught by humans for thousands of years, it's the higher dimensional light beings that have been teaching that, and I've been working directly with them. So that, I would say, is like level 1 of the really advanced human energy communication to higher realm level. I gotta find less words to describe that. Okay, so that's working with up to the navel center, which is, if you're gonna need energy, if you're gonna be working with energy, you have to get your navel center working at the very least. So then if you want to go beyond that, there's ways to go beyond that. So there are, to open the navel center, we do the tortoise and snake form or the Xuan Wu, the 5-element spirit fighting forms. There's also the hands of infinity, and that is called the first set that you can find here at maushan.thunderwizard.com. So the hands of infinity are the highest frequency that I'm aware of that opens up the navel center. It will give you power. It will give you power over yin and yang. It will give you power over the third dimension. It will give you power over your mind. You'll be able to have such expansive thinking. And it will give you power over energy, because the navel center is where all chi, life force energy, is absorbed and sent throughout the body. So this is incredibly important. So this is as far as we've gotten right now. If you go all the way up to opening the navel center for 5D Earth creation, the hands of infinity, the small butterfly, that's everything that I have made available to people either at thunderwizard.com and or at maushan.thunderwizard.com. However, there's more to come. I am going to start uploading those forms very soon, but I don't want to do it too soon because people need to get their energy. There are some people that are asking me for it and they're not ready. So I have to be, trust me, if I give you that stuff now, I don't know, but there's a good chance that you'll have a meltdown. So we need to climb up the ladder. So what is coming next is to open the heart center for the immortal body. So to become an immortal, there's 2 different ways to do it, at the very least. And one is to become a physical immortal, where your physical body doesn't age, and it stays young and it stays healthy, and you can live for a very long time. So there's a practice that will achieve that. And that practice is to open the heart center for the immortal body. It's we called it the second set, but its actual name is called the butterfly hands. So that's different from the small butterflies that most of you have taught. You've learned. Anyway, those of you who follow me know what I'm talking about. But this is the full butterfly set, and this is for the heart center, which connects directly to the soul and connects directly to the feminine power of the lightning that surrounds and protects the soul. So if you want to know what the divine masculine and the divine feminine are, they are in the heart. The soul is the divine masculine. The energy that surrounds it is the divine feminine. It is this practice that releases that. And I'm here to tell you that Most people have no idea what the divine masculine and feminine are, and pretty much everything you hear about it is complete nonsense, completely backwards. This will open that and balance that energy, and that has not happened in this world for 13,000 years. This set will allow people to begin to really get that. When you do that, you can become a physical immortal. You can live, disease-free and in a strong physical body for who knows how long. But it doesn't stop there. There is also to open the third eye center for the light body. This is called, we called it the third set. It's also called the assassin fist. It's called the assassin fist because it's your third eye that destroys evil. And we see this in the Hindu tradition with Shiva. When Shiva opens up his third eye, he just vaporizes whatever he's looking at. And so that represents the pure, third eye, the true understanding of the third eye. It really does. It destroys evil. And so if you want to fight evil and destroy it, this is how you do it. Now, if you open up the heart, you will be protected from evil. It'll frighten evil away, but it won't necessarily destroy it. And then the navel center, when you open that up, that destroys the effects of evil. So bad luck, bad health, those kinds of things. When you open up the navel center, it gives you protection so that bad luck doesn't touch you. So you see the difference? You open up the heart center, it not only protects you from bad luck, but it drives away evil. So evil runs from you. When you open up the third eye, you actually vaporize and destroy it. And this is the power that gives you the light body, where your body shifts to a higher frequency, leaves third dimension altogether, and becomes something altogether different. This is coming directly from the light beings. Now, I encourage you to prove me wrong. It sounds unbelievable. I totally understand. The only way you're going to know whether or not I am full of crap or telling you the truth is if you do the practices. So you can start with the summoning the immortals there. That's the fastest way to do it, and you will feel the power and you'll know whether or not I'm telling you the truth. We also, when we do these live guided meditations, which we're going to do tonight as well, when we do these every Wednesday and Saturday, I guide you through some seed sound chanting. There's a couple of seed sounds that, again, have come directly from the light beings. That will also connect to your energies and empower you and open up all the meridians and do all of that. And you'll be able to feel the power of those things. I think the ones that we are chanting very likely are one of the two, if not the two most powerful seed sounds right now in existence. When we chant them, we literally change reality. So it doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what level you're at. If you're 10 years old and you live at home and you don't have any money, great. You can do the live guided interdimensional meditations, and you can do the chanting that we do. And if you want to go further and you want to do all the things we talked about, opening up the 3 levels of reality within yourself, then take a screenshot of this, not this, screenshot of this, and find those on the different websites. You see them both there, thunderwizard.com and maoshan.thunderwizard.com. All right, I hope I explained myself, but the bottom line is, here's the good news. You can definitely connect with higher dimensional beings. They want to contact you. My way isn't the only way. I think it's a very specific and powerful way for people who are destined to be guardian angels, healers, and protectors of the new planet Earth, but I'm not the only game in town. I just watched a video where a woman, just playing around with astral travel, but she was really dedicated to it. And I actually watched it to prove to myself that she was full of crap when I read the title. But as I listened to her, I realized, nope, she was really experiencing and communicating with a higher dimensional being. She'd be a lot better off, I think, if she did my practices. She'd be, have more more repeatable success. But everybody gets there however they get there. Anyway, that's it for me, my friends. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. I hope I see you later on tonight, if you're watching this on Saturday, October 4th. But wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I wish you all the best. I'm here for you. Please put in the comments section any questions that you have, any of your experiences with any of the practices, put it in there. I read all the comments and I respond to the respectful ones. That's it. I love you all. I'll see you all next time. Please be very good to yourselves.